like we've got bag 14 here. There's a total of 15 bags for this set. But as you can see, bag 15 is practically nothing. It looked like it's just little finishing pieces for maybe when you turn it into the full-size boat. So I'm pretty sure that we are on the finale of the Pirates of Barracuda Bay. So this has been a really fun journey, but I definitely think it's time to finish this setup. It's taken far too long as I had that massive break in there. So definitely think it's time to get it done. All right, so let's do it. Bag 14. We have one more. That's right, one more pirate minifig in here to build. All right, one more time of pouring out a bunch of pieces without any kind of organization or strategy. The way it should be. I think it's always good to get away from just building licensed sets, and if I'm not careful, that's kind of all I do, to be honest. I always love, those licensed kind of sets, and it's good to just build something that is more about Lego history. It's more about that classic Lego pirate theme. That means a lot. For as much as I love all the licensed stuff, and I do, there's something a little more pure about going that direction, isn't there? Something a little more honest feeling about it. I don't know. I guess I'm trying to tear this apart. There we go. Get it back on there. Ah, okay. I thought I'd lost my mind there for a second. There was one more tiny little 14 bag that got separated, so I wasn't finding all of the minifig pieces. I couldn't find the legs. I thought I was putting together Lieutenant Dan there for a second. Dun 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 dun. Worst joke you'll hear all day. All right. So this minifig is Lady Anchor. She is the final in the pirate set here. And she has I think she's got two expressions. Nope, just one. One of the rare times when you just get the one expression, even though it would have been a fine minifig for it because the hair would have been completely obscuring the other side, but that's okay. All right, getting getting definitely a classic pirate vibe there. And she just comes with her sword and I believe a pistol. There we go. Actually, it appears I was wrong. I think she comes with a machete, actually. So I guess it could be either one, but that's what it shows in the instructions. So I know the gun is laying around here somewhere or another. Go ahead and put her up here on the docks. She can kind of hang out with the other pirates as we complete the building process here. All right. So we're going to be continuing to work with that kind of little section that we were starting on. I have all the other pirate ship pieces out because I thought, you know what, we're going to need them sooner rather than later. So I'll just bring it forward here. Probably readjust my camera to where we can see what we're doing just a little bit more. Zoom out a little. Looks like this bag is mostly about finishing up this section of the pirate ship, making it a little more complete looking, I do believe. This is one of those funny parts of a build where you have the dark brown and the black pieces. And in the instruction manual, it's almost impossible to tell the difference between those two types of pieces. And it ends up causing me a lot of grief as I trip over myself thinking one is black and one is dark brown. So hopefully I can kind of be aware of that as I build. Okay. Okay, got those. And heater finally kicked off, so hopefully that'll make our audio a little easier to stand, I hope. And then this just attaches on each side, like so. And then we just use this as a bridge between the two sides here. We'll just turn this. This just sets up here and plugs in. It's a little more light going there. There we go. You can see Redbeard is very happy with the progress, as hopefully he has a little bit more shelter now. Right, next up we have a little door for the cabin here. Okay, got that on there. And that will just go on little hinges, so I'm sorry, Redbeard, you're gonna have to leave your post. There we go. Got a functional door there on the hinge. Very nice. Excellent. Looks like we have a couple little spots for pins to go in right up here. All right. work on some ornamentation that goes over the little entryway right there with the door. I have no idea why I'm whistling the Zelda theme. Maybe a Wind Waker Lego set would be something really nice. Of course, if I had $1 for how many of those Lego Ideas Zelda sets that I've seen come across ideas, I'd be able to afford every Lego set, right? I hope that's something that they're smart enough to actually do eventually. I mean, I think if they did it, if they did a Zelda theme for Lego, I think that they should probably take a different approach than what they did with Mario. Because I think they were actually smart with what they did with Mario. And that was to make a kid, like a kid kind of based thing, where it was more child-friendly and gamified. I think that works very well for Mario, because I think mostly the audience for Mario is always, I mean, there's a huge, of course, adult collector audience, but I don't think it can possibly match the kid audience for Mario. I think there's always at any given time going to be more kid interest. And that's to Mario's credit. Now, Zelda, on the other hand, I've always felt like that it's mostly an older fan base, right? So because of that, I think maybe they would want to do some more mature kind of things with doing Lego Zelda. I think that's where you do the big Hyrule Castle set and, like I said, Wind Waker ships and things. And there's still probably something innovative and game-esque that they can do with it. But to me, you definitely skew older with what you do with the sets. You know, honestly, direct-to-consumer might be the way to go for a lot of the Zelda sets. Sure, you could do some, smaller retail sets, I guess. But honestly, I think it would be mostly a direct-to-consumer thing. I really do. Especially for the size of sets we're talking about for some of this stuff. Even something like the, what was it called in Breath of the Wild? The Temple of Resurrection that Link wakes up in after 100 years or so. However many years it was. I think even doing something like that would be really impressive. Ooh, I like the little extra bit of kind of pizzazz that gave that. Very nice. Very nice, very nice. All right. Moving on. Got no idea what we're building with this part. Guess we'll find out. I'm assuming a little bit of extra ornamentation. Something to complete out this part of the cabin. Speaking of completing things out, we are very close to completing out this set. So hopefully we'll be able to get everything rounded off and done. And I'll be ready to finally put this in final display and kind of just see how the thing looks all together. I think that'll be a terrific thing to finally see it all done after so long, too long, really, working on it. That's okay, though. It's made it an epic adventure. It's been more fun in a lot of ways because it has, been kind of a bigger journey. It almost felt like I was shipwrecked while I was trying to get myself to complete the set. And I know that seems like a really poor reflection on the set itself, but I assure you it's really not. It was just me being lazy and unmotivated. So don't let let it make you think anything else, because it wasn't anything else. Life happened, so. Uh, Sometimes you run out of time for fun stuff, and that's just the way it is. That's okay. That's all right. Well, whatever this is, it's tremendously complex. We're gonna say it's a treadmill. Definitely a treadmill. Definitely. Okay, we're gonna put a few Technic pins in these right here. And finally, I found Lady Anchor's gun. I have no idea why it took so long to find it in the first place, but I thought, you know what? I will find it as I go, and sure enough, I did. First, I kind of wondered, did they actually just decide not to include this? Very few of those kinds of errors make it through Lego quality control these days. Used to, it was a pretty common thing. Be missing a piece here, missing a piece there. Nowadays, if I'm missing a piece, that's on me. I let it roll off the table while I was building or something. But who knows, maybe it's a little more common than I think it is. Maybe I've just had some tremendously good luck in the last several years. Because I'm always hearing of little things happening, but I mean, how could it not with some of these sets? I mean, gee whiz, some of this stuff is, you're talking about thousands and thousands of pieces. I think at that point, yeah, it would actually be kind of statistically strange if every single part was there, I think at that point. I watched the new Matrix trailer earlier. There's a second Matrix trailer out for Resurrections, and I was just tremendously impressed by it. I really think that it's looking to kind of deconstruct what sequels even are. So I think it's going to be incredibly original with how they do this. I'm really looking forward to it. I think now that I've seen the second trailer, I don't want to see another thing about the movie. I think that's all I want to see. They didn't really give away a huge amount of stuff. They did give away one kind of twist about a certain character coming back around in a different form. But I don't want to know anything else. I think I've seen enough. They've sold me. We're good. Time to just see the movie, I think, at this point, right? Time to just see what it's all about. And I am very excited. I'm still slightly confused about why Lawrence Fishburne isn't in the movie. And I just don't know what to make of that. Why isn't Lawrence Fishburne playing Morpheus? I mean, obviously there's a story reason there why there's a younger Morpheus in the movie, but it's still awful weird. I mean, what's that actor's name? Yahya something or another. He's really, really good in everything I've seen him in. So it's not that I think he'll do a bad job. It is kind of weird that there's the odd man out. But who knows? Maybe he's in it and it's a big secret or something. I'll be going back and showing people this live stream so that we can laugh about me being perplexed about why, he wasn't in the movie. Turns out he was. But who knows? I have no kind of extra information on that. You never know. Bigger surprises have been pulled off. Hopefully, everybody that's watching this who was interested has managed to get their tickets for Spider-Man No Way Home. If you were looking to secure those for opening weekend, they are starting to dry up a little bit. They're starting to kind of evaporate, especially if you're trying to get an IMAX experience. I didn't go that route. It was just going to be more trouble than it was worth for me. I probably will see it in IMAX eventually. But I just went with my regular old dependable theater, so still looking very much forward to it. I saw some hilarious articles, and I guess they're kind of depressing, but they're also sort of hilarious, that people, I guess, somehow are scalping their No Way Home tickets. I mean, really? My brother, he commented on that. He was like, is that going to be a new thing now? Like, is it going to be that, just like, concerts, it's like this for concerts. I'm not much of a concert goer, but anybody who knows how that works knows that it's the same thing as us toy collectors, what we deal with. People now have these bots, and they're buying up all the tickets just as quick as they can, and it's a whole thing, and then you'll get on whatever else, and they're reselling them on there, and it's just a big mess. So hopefully movie tickets don't become the same kind of thing. Although the truth is, the movie industry would be begging for anything that people would want to see enough to even do that with now, right? Because people are, it's been tough going at the movie theater, so I'm sure they would just be excited to have a movie playing that people even want to scalp the tickets for. Beggars can't be choosers, so they welcome the scalpers to come in, buy us out, please, buy every seat in the house, and then go from there. There was that awful news story a little while back, though. It was about the guy who sold the PS5 to somebody, and I guess met him in person. Maybe it was a Craigslist thing. I don't remember the details. Or never read the details, actually. I just kind of saw headlines about it. And I suppose that this young man, I guess he lost his life doing that. I guess the deal went wrong or something. And who knows, maybe there was more to it or something. But man, that's just depressing. Something like that over something so stupid. I guess people just aren't thinking straight. Maybe some substances involved, and at least that's what I'm guessing in that situation. How sad. How sad. You feel for that guy's family, and then the other family are victims too when you think about it. So sorry, had to plug up my camera here. It was starting to die out on me. That new trailer for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse was fantastic. Thought it was great. If I were Sony, though, I guess it is smart in a way that they're trying to ride the No Way Home hype, right? And they're like, you know what, this is our Spider-Man movie with this one. Let's try to make sure that people are associating these things together, when really, if I were them, I think I might have just been like, hey, we're going to premiere this Across the Spider-Verse trailer with No Way Home. The only way you can see the trailer is you've got to make sure you're at the theater so you can get the first look. Or even put it after the movie or something. I don't know. I mean, there's been things like that have been done before, so it might have been a cool idea. There might have been some way to have worked that out, maybe. For some reason, I keep feeling like there was a missed opportunity there. Maybe there was. I'm just excited that Oscar Isaacs has been confirmed, that Oscar Isaac is going to be playing Spider-Man 2099 again, just like he did in the post-credits scene for Into the Spider-Verse. And then a really fascinating revelation that I'm not sure anybody had reported was that the movie is part one of 2 parts, and they're going to be released year after year. And you have to wonder if that's going to be for the good of the movie or the detriment of the movie. Sometimes, I don't know, I think our generation or in film has seen times when that worked really well and times when that didn't work very well. I actually think it worked pretty well with the Pirates of the Caribbean 2 and 3. I think that worked pretty well. Was it Dead Man's Chest and at World's End. I actually thought that was seemed fairly effective, the way that that was structured and how it turned out, but I might be in the minority of people who thought that that worked in the movie's favor, and that's okay. I know that that's kind of a weird opinion. I thought it worked really well for The Matrix, Back to the Matrix, back in the day, in, 2003? But unfortunately, saying that, what I really mean is that it worked out well for The Matrix Reloaded, but not very well for The Matrix Revolutions, which I always thought was a great shame, and probably one of the reasons why I'm actually more excited for Matrix Resurrections, because it almost feels like a way to make sense of some of the things I didn't like in Matrix Revolutions. Almost like a chance for it to redeem some of its own ideas. And honestly, a big part of the reason I wasn't liking some of the things that they did with Revolutions was that, I mean, we were led to believe it was the definitive kind of ending. And I didn't think it had done a very good job tying anything up. Well, if it's not the definitive ending, then a whole bunch of that can be completely forgiven now. So it changes my outlook then, where it's like, hey, actually there's more story, and that was just kind of a stepping stone to get to its ultimate conclusion. Well, now it makes more sense to me. But am I expecting Ghostbusters Afterlife quality? I don't know. Maybe it'll be just as good. Afterlife is a rare movie that actually makes good on all of the fan service and all the promises and all the hype and being exactly what you're hoping it would be, and has all the little things in it that you want. And I just don't care about the kind of vocal minority of people who are saying something like, oh, this is nostalgia gone wrong, and I just can't believe there's nothing to the movie, it's just nostalgia. I don't care. It's exactly what people wanted. For the great majority of people, it's exactly what they wanted. You ask folks if they could have had Star Wars sequels like that, I think they would have ran you down just trying to get to the theater to see a Star Wars sequel that was done in that spirit, where there was that much honor and that much passion put onto the original Star Wars films. How come I'm living in a world where I'm talking about that Ghostbusters was shown more honor and relevance than the original Star Wars trilogy? That's bizarre. It makes no sense. I can't believe that that's the conversation I'm having in 2021. I'm like, man, if they'd only shown Star Wars the respect they shown Ghostbusters, really? How did this happen? I'll actually tell you the difference. I'll let you in on a secret. When the original director, when his son, who grew up on the set of Ghostbusters 1 and 2, when he's the one that writes and directs a movie, then chances are there's actually a really good chance that there's going to be an insane amount of relevance shown and honor given to the original product. And I think that's the difference. All right. Saw where Colin Farrell is signed up to play the Penguin in that Gotham City PD show that's going to be on HBO Max. And that is really cool. I wonder how long it is until, because I think that show happens like before the events of this new Batman movie. I just am kind of starting to wonder how long it is until you hear that Rob Pattinson has signed on to also appear in this show as Batman during that time in his career. I think there's some possibilities here. And clearly the show has probably been through some different iterations, because I think they lost their original showrunner. I think they said that it was the classic creative differences line about why they left. So chances are there was an iteration of the show where it was just going to be Jim Gordon and the Gotham City Police Department, but clearly that has morphed into, hey, you know, the Penguin is definitely going to be a big part of it. And like I said, at this point, I'm sort of starting to wonder how long until they just go ahead and say, okay, you know, Batman's going to be in it too. This will be a, I don't know if Warner Brothers is willing to do that or not. They're famously persnickety. They're famously kind of shy about putting Batman in TV projects. I mean, geez, look at that last episode of the Gotham show. Oh my gosh. Less said about some of that, the better. Oof. Oof. Some Warner Brothers, all that hesitation over putting Batman in Gotham. Then they put him in there, and visually did not turn out very well. You would think that with something like that, there would be kind of a, you would think that almost that they would kick in a little extra money to make sure it looked right or make sure it looked good or something. But who knows? Maybe that was what the producers wanted it to look like. And if that's the case, oof, geez, really? It's a strange idea. What gets me is a lot of the villains in Gotham. I never really watched the show consistently. But I do know that they got the looks of the villains by the end of the show really, really right. And very comic book accurate for most of them. There was some misses like Bane. It just looked horrible in the show, but gee. Imagine doing all that and then missing Batman at the very end. It's horrible for those guys. I'm sure that they were trying really hard and working with what they had and trying to make the best Batman show they could without Batman, which is, maybe that's problem number one. You know, maybe make sure Batman's in the show before you put in that kind of effort. Yeah. Not much left of this thing. I have very few pieces laying here. So I think we're going to see the final form of the disassembled ship pretty soon. And now that this thing has kind of gotten off balanced, it won't stay up. So yeah, I think we're in the home stretch. It'd be great to see this thing finally put together after an extended build period. Of course, I wonder. Hoo-hoo. Sorry, I'm looking at a giant spider right now that has made its way towards me here. So if I die, just know that it's on live stream here. And it's so big that I heard it crawling, okay? That's how big this thing is. Let me see if I can defeat this thing in combat real quick. Let me just get this. Oh, jeez. All right, I win. Okay. Oh my gosh. It's the dangers of live streaming in a basement. Oh my gosh. That was That was something else. Here I was talking about finally completing this thing, and the spider come out to confront me, possibly to kill me, but I don't want to say for sure, but I think we can say for sure that the spider was here to kill me. The thing was massive. So, disturbing story. One time I was in my room as a kid, and I was playing video games. My back got tired, that's right, from the hard work of playing video games as a 12-year-old. And so I laid flat down on the carpet for a few minutes in front of where I was playing the game. Well, all of a sudden, one of my ears clogged up. I thought, man, this is so bizarre. And it just all of a sudden, it just clogged completely up. I went to Mom real quick, and I was like, hey, this is strange. My ear has clogged up. I feel kind of funny, a little off balance. She shone a light into my ear, and all she said was, hold still for a second. I said, well, what is it? What is it? She said, hold still for a second. And I looked down, I felt something tickle my ear. All of a sudden, a spider crawled out of my ear and followed the light right out. So, yeah. I don't even particularly have that much of a problem with spiders, actually. You would think I would after that experience, but I really don't. I've not had much of a bad experience. I'm more of the guy who's horrified of snakes. I consider myself and Indiana Jones have a similar phobia there. I'm horrified, like beyond belief, of snakes. Major phobia. Isn't it in the Ninjago themes that everybody's sick of them using the, like the snake people? Like those little, like, snake warrior heads. I think everybody's mad that they keep using them. Then I think there's a little bit of anger right now directed towards the new Ninjago sets that were just revealed for the beginning, I think spring of 2022. Because they look kind of Junior-esque. Look like Lego, like Junior's kind of simplified stuff. And it was to the point to where I think one of the main brand managers of Ninjago, because Ninjago is so much bigger than anything but Star Wars, honestly, for Lego, that they even had like an explanation for why these sets were the way they were, where they're like, hey, we weren't able to get any kind of like story content for what the next sets were going to be like. And when they say that, they mean like they couldn't get, like, they couldn't work with the show people to like set up what it's going to be, the new themes for the new season of the show. And this is all probably pandemic related, I would say. So they said that they were given direction from Lego itself to just make a wave of sets that would be, I guess, based on just solely nothing story-wise, that they would be meant to appeal to kids. And it was a way to get new kids maybe into Ninjago. And I have a feeling that's not just a result of the pandemic, but probably also having something to do with, I would say there were some statistics that they looked at that probably Ninjago patronage was kind of skewing older. And maybe there was kind of a realization like, oh, we've not done enough to market this to younger kids. We've given all of our attention to Lego Mario the last few years, and maybe we're losing kind of, we need, new child fans to replace, to beg mom and dad for Ninjago sets. Maybe that was it. All I know is that it would be hard to top, because I'm not really a Ninjago guy too much, but I am a Lego Atlantis guy, like big time. I'm way into Atlantis, the old theme. And really just deep sea Lego themes are a big thing for me. And thus that extends into pirate ships and all of that. And those latest Ninjago sets they did were flat out Atlantis homage sets. And so that was that would be very hard to top, I would think. So I think it makes it especially aggravating for people when they saw the new kitty-fied Ninjago sets. And I don't know, if I were them, I would just be happy to give my wallet a break. I couldn't imagine being a Ninjago completist. Those guys, I mean, there's hundreds upon hundreds of dollars of sets to buy, like 3 times a year. It's a massive expenditure, what those guys are into. I love building these kinds of like little imperfections, like this looks like a dilapidated board or something like that. Love that kind of stuff in Lego builds. I'll always, and it's to nauseum, reference the old fishing store as my favorite example of building something that was supposed to be like purposely broken down looking. There's something about Lego. I think there's something about just the nature of the brick itself. You can build some really cool, like old, worn down things with it. And I like that. All right, we are building in a little bit of overgrowth onto the windows here. Just like a vine coming through. I like that, how it almost props the shutter open with the vine. That's nice. Feels more organic the way that they did it there. And then over here, we have like where one of the windows are boarded up. I like that. That is a terrific visual that they went for there. Yeah, that's nice. That's really nice. Okay. And that is actually going to attach onto the back of this. And that's going to close up the cabin, actually, which I've been waiting for to see what that would be like. And these 2 ball bearings here are going to go into those 2 slots in the back. So that makes sense now. The rudder down here. Okay. And so I just need to bring those in close. Get them all lined up with everything. Still relatively easy to remove this too if you need to. And yeah, I like that. Yeah, it's in there very securely still though. So that's nice too. You can kind of have it both ways that way. Easy to remove, but also, you know, feels like it's on there very steadily, very securely. Okay. So now it looks like we're doing a little bit of some, like a platform. Okay. Not many pieces left down here. We are very quickly heading towards the end of this build. That's okay. It's, I think it's time. I think it's time for this pirate ship to be built. Again, more of what I like here with old rotted out boards that we're building. It's that super grit Lego aesthetic. classic piece. So we'll just attach a couple of these chain pieces, one on each side here. Okay, and then I believe we're going to hang this right around this. There we go. I think I might have done that. One a little high. One stud too high. Let me try saying that again. There we go. And this looks like a makeshift little kind of covering that the pirates have created. And that is also going to go on this section of the ship. And these two little grabbers here are actually going to clip onto the little yellow parts up there. Two little yellow bars, I guess would be the term. Okay. So that just stays, whoop. There we go. Had to get the rudder straightened out there. Okay, and we're now going to build one of the larger pirate flags right here. We'll take our pre-printed piece. Really happy about the lack of stickers in this set. I was very pleased about that. Really kind of a non-sticker set. This was printings, and that's what I like. I think that's what a majority of fans like. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. Nobody wants to have to put on those stickers. Sometimes I think, you know, of course it helps a set every now and then. Here's something I don't care to complain about is these pieces when it shows them being attached, these like palm tree leaves, these palmetto leaves. It just leaves like mysterious, like you're not exactly sure how it's being attached. I assume that these are being locked into the corners like this. But it's a little harder to see what they're doing in terms of attachment. We're going to say that that's right. We hope that's right. And if it isn't, who cares, right? Let's see. I think I got this one close, but not quite right. There we go. Now it's on track. And here we have kind of a, I think this will be the deck up top on this ship here. And I think that'll be it, actually, for this form of the Black Seas Barracuda. Barracuda! Can't believe that's the only time I've thought of this the whole time. Do 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 do. All right. Looks like just some supports. Looks like we have a stack of ammunition of some sort here. I think I'm putting those stacked correctly. Okay. And we're building just a little column that's meant, I think, just to do some weapon storage and hold a couple of swords, pirate stuff. You know, pirate stuff. You know. Arg. How insufferable would it have been if I had done a pirate voice through this entire live stream of the build? You know, it's never too late to start. Arg, look at this. See, it's getting old already. Okay, now I know why we had a sword here. That was why, and I gave it accidentally to Lady Anchor earlier. Then we have a large rifle here. Okay, and yep, that's our weapon storage I was talking about. Okay, so then that gets just, I think that just gets plugged in here on the deck. All right, and so we go down 5 studs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right there. Okay, looking good. And that's gonna plug in right at the top. I love how everything is kind of coming in like there's a curvature. Like it's not just all straight and nice and the angles are just perfect. That would have been incredibly boring. You know what's really interesting is, let me make sure about this. Yeah, I don't think anything actually pegs into anything. Nothing's actually attaching. I think that this just sets up here and it just stays in through some friction with all the different sides kind of enclosing it in a little bit. Huh. Well, that's nice. All right, I like that. Yeah, it looks good. Okay, we are, I think, with the last few pieces of this bag. And we're just building a cannon. So we'll go ahead then and get that put together. That's there. It'll always kind of scare you to click these cannons in because it's a little bit more of a tight fit than what we're used to with most modern Lego sets. Okay. A couple little supports with some pins attached. And of course, we'll Add some wheels here. Roll our cannon all over town. And the fourth wheel. Lego's getting awful bold with their lack of extra pieces because they don't even give you an extra wheel. So if one of these rolled away, you would just be out of luck. It'd be, well, I'm sorry that happened, kid. You can contact Lego customer service for a replacement. Enjoy. All because they didn't give you one extra wheel. I said kid, but honestly, there's very few kids, I think, getting the Pirates of Barracuda Bay set. I think it's the middle-aged crew. I am steadily counting myself among them. All right, we'll put our cannon. Whoa! We'll put our cannon right up there. Yo ho ho! And looks like just building one little lamp here that just hangs out. And that's it for our pieces. This thing is wrapping up, y'all. It is about done. Of course, not the completed pirate ship, but the pirate ship end pieces on Barracuda Bay. And that will just clip right here if you've been wondering what that empty clip was doing there, like I've been. Well, this was it, turned out. I'm just gonna clip this sucker on there. There we go, it's gotta clip up a little higher than I wanted to. Okay, so earlier we built that rudder, right? I'll have to bring it down to show you what I'm doing. But the directions now say that even after we built the rudder, we need to disconnect this little section from the bottom, which is funny, but okay. And that's to accommodate this thing to be attached, and it just shows us just laying that piece over to the side. This is now going to be put into Barracuda Bay like it's docked. Okay, so for Barracuda Bay, let's see, for the docking procedure, get these guys all lined out here. We are going to come back to this piece, and it's going to be in with all of this, with our banana barrel and all that funny stuff we built in earlier. This is going to be placed like on top of it, which is, you know, fascinating. That's the direction we're going in with this thing. Ah, you know what's really funny? Is a second ago when I built the pirate flag, I forgot to actually put the pirate flag onto the ship. Let's just do that real quick. It's gonna be awful weird if I built that and then didn't attach it. Let's get the Jolly Roger up there. I think it deserves the notoriety. I think it deserves the notoriety at this point. This thing is becoming wildly unbalanced, and it's kind of hard unless you see what I'm seeing here. So let me kind of scoot everything back so you can see why this is happening. You see where it's like, it's all this weight over here on this side, and there really isn't much weight holding things together on the other side. So it's kind of funny. You can see I've got to just keep it supported the whole time. And there is the Jolly Roger just hanging up above. Okay, now I can get this thing mounted the right way. So apparently I'm supposed to turn it this way. Okay. And at this angle, I hope I'm doing this right. Ah, like that, okay. That makes more sense. And that is just going to plug right in onto these guys. Apparently I was foolish enough to not put the support in the right spot earlier. There we go. Now it's good and even. At least I noticed that now, rather than having to reattach it all later. Okay, all right, there it locks in, there it locks in. Okay. Turned out there was one more big piece right here, and I was a little concerned because I didn't remember there being one big piece left, but thankfully there was. So I thought for sure for a second there I had thrown it away or something. Okay. That is going to go into these mystery clips that I didn't know what they were for way back when we first assembled it. So this is kind of like a ladder almost. You have the kind of the roping that would be on the leading up to the pirate ship. They've repurposed it for that. Okay, great. Okay, time for final assembly here as we put all of these disparate pieces together. Now, it's going to be kind of unsightly as I have to pull this thing back because there is honestly no other way to see this. Let's see. Get some things readjusted here. Yeah, there's no other way. You guys will be able to tell what's going on here. We'll have to go way, way outside the realm, the boundaries of my little light box here, my little review station. Okay. To look over my stomach growling. I assure you I'm not hungry. Okay. So all we've got to do is just get everything in the right order here. Oh. Yeah, we're gonna have to go even further back to see everything. That's the extreme size of this thing. It's funny, now we can just see the couch. That is a massive, massive set. Absolutely massive. I'll be honest, it's going to be hard for me to even want to disassemble the thing and put it, or reassemble it really, into the ship, because I have a feeling this is just going to be too cool once it's together. Once it's looking as neat as it is, I think it's going to be pretty tough to convince myself. Okay. Let's see. So it's kind of looking like that there isn't really a attachment necessarily between these, but maybe it's just kind of looking like you just kind of set these two massive panels beside of each other, and that you don't really attach them into one big thing necessarily. But I'm not 100% sure if that's right just yet. The instructions aren't showing us attaching anything necessarily. There we go. There's a little piece of the boat that doesn't really peg in, but it kind of locks in. They just kind of sort of have a little handshake here, and it's kind of in between. It's this little piece kind of goes into an empty slot there, and that allows it to kind of join. So that's what makes this massive play area kind of conjoin with one another. Okay, completely overwhelming on size. That's, I think, the first impression here, that it is just as massive a thing as you can possibly imagine. There is so much going on, and there's just so much crazy detail. Let's do an overview. Yeah, I think that would be fun. So let's get our minifigs situated before we have a look at the thing. And there's just so much here, it's crazy. Okay. Tatooga right here out in front. All right. Let's go for a little stroll on Barracuda Bay. So starting out, let's just go from the top, and there's Transformers and Turtle stuff up there. Go from the top with our flags here. A little bit more front lighting there so we can see. I mean, it's so multi-tiered. There's so many things going on. And there's several interiors to access. Even going in from like the corner, you can see there's interiors to access. It looks much more organic and just overwhelming than I thought it would. There's just a lot going on. I clearly didn't, I guess I underestimated just how natural the thing would look. I'm just turning my lights around so it kind of looks like the end of the world on Barracuda Bay as I'm spinning my light, trying to get it at the best angle. But I really was, I think, not quite prepared for how organic the build would end up being, because that's really what I would say is it really doesn't seem like a flat diorama. It seems like this big world. There's all of this crazy stuff going on. I mean, it's as epic as you could possibly imagine. I mean, that's crazy. And like I said, it's not like locked in necessarily. You can pull it apart. And just the different angles and things, just seeing it all together. Man, this is going to be a shame when this retires and people don't have the kind of access to this that they do now. My advice is to get it just as quick as you can before, don't let this thing retire on you, because this is as massive and glorious a diorama as you're ever going to assemble. I mean, let's just see if it works from the other side, because I am very curious about that. I am wondering how that's gonna go down. Let's get just some, try not to be ran over here by the boat. Okay. So the other side doesn't look nearly as organic, and it's definitely meant to be displayed from one side, because you can see that back here you have all kinds of weird all of a sudden stops, you know, and everything just kind of cuts off. But it is a good way to access different interiors and things. This would probably be the ideal way to go to things like the captain's quarters and Redbeard's room. You can easily get to like the little kitchen area this way. And it does give you some versatility in terms of being able to split it like this. And then you can do some different things. You can get the mermaid on the front there all lined out. Yeah, I know it seems like a cop-out, but I don't feel a great desire to reassemble this, at least not just yet, into the boat. I mean, I like it, and this is the feeling I got when I first saw the videos and some of the reviews and things. I really just like the crazy, like, town that's made of boats. I think that's what really makes the set unique. I definitely would have been interested still if it had just been the boat and that was it. But I'm not 100% sure that I ever would have given the consideration to actually get the thing. But this way, I mean, this is something that just hadn't been done before. They had never tried something like this, where there's an entire town made out of, you know, a disassembled boat. It's as novel an idea as you can get when it comes to how do you do something like a Lego pirate ship that's been done so many times before, and how do you do something fun and interesting with it? And the answer is, well, you do this. That's what I would say. I would say, very simply, you just do this. Then we'll get the rowboat out here. And we'll get our shark going on his feeding frenzy right here. Get the mouth open. Yeah, I mean, that's fantastic. I'll tell you what. If I'm looking at my book right now, the instruction manual, let's just see how much more it would take to reassemble this into the main boat. Because the deal is that you pretty much unpack it from the main island. And then you have to disassemble some things, then reassemble some things. And it's a whole process, and you're eventually left with a completed boat. But I'll tell you what, I think I'm going to appreciate it like this for a while, And you never know. I think maybe in a couple of nights we'll come back to it. I know I put finale on this, but I think we'll have I think we may end up doing an epilogue. Yeah, we'll call it an epilogue for sure. And we'll just take another look at maybe it as a fully assembled boat and go over that, because I feel like that deserves its own kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like this feels very much like this is the intent right here, that it's disassembled in all of its glory and it's kind of just all over the place, and it just feels like there's so much intentionality going on here that I almost hate to put the thing together. And I didn't expect to feel that way. I thought, yeah, I'm just going to power through and we're going to do the boat and all that. But no, I've ended up feeling a little different, much different than I thought I would about this. It's just a glorious mess. And I mean that in the most positive way possible. It's glorious. I mean, there's so much, even to the side, there's so much going on. And with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 or 8 minifigs that it includes, it still feels like it could have included like 15. And there would have been, you still would have had figures that weren't filling in like certain usable spaces on the thing. And that's insane. But I'll tell you what, if you're looking for something for a Christmas present for an older, and it does need to be older, Lego fan, somebody who can appreciate a build like this, even someone who just loves nautical history, loves boats. I don't know. This is just a glorious thing that they've done here, and I love how it turned out. Definitely, it's funny. The build of the thing, I would say that the build was probably, there was times when it felt a little monotonous. There was times when it felt like, a little bit of a chore to build it. But most of the time, it felt like you were doing something different. It was a varied build, so it didn't leave me completely just, oh, I got to get through this. But it didn't really click for me until it all came together at the end. That's when I realized what they were doing. I had to see it like all assembled into this before I could really understand what they were going for. And what they were going for was something absolutely insane, like a diorama kind of thing, like I have never, ever seen them do. Like this is on a whole other level of goodness when it comes to Lego Pirates. This is something else. Well, I believe that I've gushed long enough about this thing and kind of gotten out most of my thoughts about it in this mode. I want to thank everybody who went on this crazy journey with me. And I hope that you've enjoyed some of the banter and the talks that we've had throughout building it. Like I said, I do expect to be back maybe in a few days and say, okay, well, let's see how this looks once it's assembled into the full boat. But I plan on just enjoying it this way for a while. I just think this is a cool thing. Why not enjoy it like this, right? All right, friends. Well, as always, God bless you and yours, and I'll see you on Fanboys Forever. Fanboy out.